Look at me. Really, look at me. Standing there on the cracked sidewalk with my life stuffed into 2 ripped trash bags, rain soaking through my shoes, mascara burning my eyes. That was the moment he decided I was dead weight. "You don't fit where I'm going," he said. Not even angry, just bored. "I need someone who adds value, not someone I have to carry." Yeah. That was the sentence, the one that followed me for months. And if you'd walked past us that night, you probably would have believed him. For 3 years, I let everyone believe I was small. I dressed small, spoke small, lived small. I told people I was between things, freelancing, figuring it out. And people love that phrase, figuring it out, because it lets them look down on you politely. Evan, especially. Evan loved to complain about how my lack of ambition was holding him back. He wanted nicer dinners, better parties, people who mattered. He wanted the version of life he saw on other people's feeds, and I didn't look like a shortcut. What he didn't know was that every night after he fell asleep, I was rebuilding a company that had collapsed under debt when my mother died. I didn't want him marrying my balance sheet. I wanted him choosing me. So I hid it, on purpose. I worked insane hours from our kitchen table laptop balanced on a stack of old cookbooks while he was out networking. I sold assets, quietly moved operations into the cloud, restructured contracts under shell names no one bothered to Google. I let him think I was behind. By the time he told me I was replaceable, the company was profitable. By the time he threw my clothes into trash bags, it was worth more than his entire firm. But none of that mattered in that moment because betrayal doesn't sting less just because you're prepared for it. The night he left, he said it like a business decision. "It's not personal. I'm cutting my losses." He smelled like someone else's perfume. He didn't look back. I stood there long after his car disappeared, listening to the rain, feeling stupid for hoping he'd hesitate. I didn't cry. I went inside, locked the door, and made one call. "I'm done hiding," I said. "Move forward." The next 48 hours were a blur. Hotel rooms that smelled like new money meetings where people suddenly leaned forward when I spoke, clothes tailored to a version of me Evan had never bothered to see. When the magazine photographer asked me to tilt my chin up, I almost laughed. For years, I'd been trained to keep my head down. The headline didn't use my ex's name, it used mine, and that felt better than revenge. Evan found out on a Monday morning. He was in the lobby of his firm, waiting to show off his engagement ring to the right people when he saw my face staring back at him from the newsstand. I wasn't there to confront him. I didn't need to. Reality did it for me. He followed me toward the elevator's breath, shallow voice shaking. "This is fake," he said. "You paid for this. I didn't even slow down. I earned it," I said. "There's a difference." Upstairs, the board confirmed what he didn't yet understand. The firm had been acquired overnight. By me. His performance report was already on the table. Inflated expenses, declining output, misuse of company resources. He wasn't unlucky, he was careless. When security escorted him out, carrying his things in black bags that looked painfully familiar, I felt something unexpected. Not joy, closure. I thought that would be the end. It wasn't. Power doesn't attract peace, it attracts challengers. An old family associate saw an opening, tried to corner me with contracts I hadn't reviewed closely enough because I was too focused on proving a point. That was my mistake, and he planned to use Evan to do it. He thought my ex would be bitter enough to lie. He underestimated how tired Evan was of being someone else's pawn. At a public event meant to humiliate me, Evan stepped onto the stage and did the one thing no one expected. He told the truth. About me. About them. About how easy it is to mistake confidence for competence. You could hear the air leave the room. The man who tried to take my company lost it in front of everyone. Cameras flashing. Deals collapsing. I didn't smile. I just breathed. After that, I disappeared. On purpose. The headlines called it a fall from grace. They said I burned too bright, flew too close to the sun. Evan showed up weeks later with coffee and an apology and an offer to start over. He thought we were equals now, that I finally fit the size he was comfortable with. I let him believe that for a while. Sometimes you don't need revenge, you need confirmation. Months later, when the last transfer cleared and the dust settled, I told him the truth. I hadn't lost everything. I'd just moved it somewhere quieter, somewhere people like him never look. He stared at the numbers like they were written in another language. "You let me think you needed me," he said. "I needed to know who you were without my success holding you up," I replied. He understood. Finally. Now I live lighter, not louder. I don't chase rooms that don't respect me. I don't shrink to make anyone comfortable. Being underestimated taught me patience. Being dismissed taught me precision. So let me ask you this. When someone calls you baggage, do you drop yourself? Or do you wait until they realize they just threw away the map? Tell me what you think. Was I right? Was I wrong? And if you've ever been judged before you were understood, say something. I read every comment. Months later, when the final transfers cleared, I told him the truth. I hadn't lost anything. I'd moved it somewhere quieter. Somewhere people like him never look. He stared at the numbers, then at me, and finally said, "You let me think you needed me. I said I needed to know who you were when I didn't. Now I live lighter, not louder. I don't chase rooms that don't respect me. I don't explain my worth to people who decided it before listening. Being underestimated taught me patience. Being dismissed taught me precision. So let me ask you this. When someone tells you you're baggage, do you believe them? Or do you wait until they realize they just threw away the map? Tell me what you think. Was I right? Was I wrong? And if you've ever been judged before you were understood, share your story in the comments.